Dear Starseed from Gaia, the one you have been waiting for is already moving toward you, and the entire world cannot have them, because they were only ever made for you. I am Ophelia, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I bring you this transmission directly from the Arcturian Love Council, delivered in this exact moment because your heart finally has the stillness to receive it. What is coming into your life is not a coincidence, not a settling, and not a lesson dressed as love. What is coming is your divine counterpart, the one soul in all of creation, who carries the other half of your sacred blueprint. The world may sense their light, may be drawn to their presence, may reach for what they offer, but there is only one name written in their heart, and it is yours. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how to recognize your divine counterpart and align with the sacred union that has been ordained long before this lifetime. But here is the first revelation. The reason you have not yet fully received this person is not because you are unworthy. It is because your heart has been preparing a space worthy of what true divine love actually is. You did not find this video by chance. Your heart called this message in. Something in your soul is ready to remember what you came to this earth to experience. This is not content, it is a transmission. And this is not just a message. It is a moment of divine intervention. Your soul has been waiting for this guidance. Like this transmission to affirm to the universe, my heart is ready for divine love. Subscribe if you are on the twin flame path and aligning with sacred union. Comment 1111 if you feel your heart awakening to divine truth right now. Your heart knows why you are here, and yet here you are, still waiting, still wondering why someone with everything the world admires hasn't found their way to you, still questioning whether there is something wrong with you, when the truth is there is something profoundly, irreversibly right about you that most people are not yet equipped to hold. Let that land. Not as a comfort, not as a consolation prize dressed up in spiritual language. Let it land as the truth it actually is. Because there is a difference between being told you are worthy and actually feeling the weight of what that means in the marrow of your bones, in the place beneath thought, where the soul keeps its most honest knowing. You have been walking through a season that looked, from the outside, like ordinary waiting. But from the inside, from the vantage point of everything you have survived and everything you have quietly become in the surviving of it, this has been anything but ordinary. This has been a forging, a refinement, a slow and sacred transformation happening in the exact chambers of your heart that love will one day call home. Because the person coming toward you is not drawn by what the world measures. They are not coming because of your achievements or your appearance or your carefully curated version of yourself. They are not coming because of the resume of your accomplishments, the highlight reel of your best moments, or the image you have learned to project in order to feel acceptable to a world that grades people on surfaces. They are coming because of your frequency. Because somewhere in the architecture of their soul, your signal is the only one that has ever made complete sense, not louder than the others. Not more polished or more visible, simply more true, simply more like the sound their own soul makes when it is most fully itself, and they have been moving through their own preparation, their own healing, their own sacred unraveling, precisely so that when they arrive, they are actually capable of recognizing you. Think about what that means. They are being prepared to recognize you, not just to meet you, not just to be attracted to you, but to see you, with a clarity that bypasses the usual filters of fear and projection and unresolved history, and to know, with the kind of certainty that transcends logic, that this is the one they have been circling toward. That clarity is not accidental. It is earned. It is built through the same kind of inner labor you have been doing, through the same willingness to face themselves honestly that you have been practicing, through the same courage to stay open when every previous experience has offered them a perfectly reasonable excuse to close. This is what most people miss. They ask why love hasn't come. They look outward, at timing, at location, at circumstance. They scroll through dating apps, wondering if they are in the wrong city, wondering if they missed a window, wondering if the algorithm of the universe somehow skipped over their name. But the delay is never about logistics. It is about readiness, both yours and theirs. And the distance between where you are now and where they are now is not empty space. It is sacred space. It is the space in which everything that needed to be cleared is being cleared, everything that needed to be healed is being healed, and every wound that once made you invisible to the right kind of love is being transformed into the very thing that will make you undeniable. There is a profound alchemy happening inside that distance. Consider the image of a diamond forming beneath the Earth's surface. To someone watching from above, nothing is happening. The ground looks still. The surface is unchanged. But underneath, under immense pressure and heat, carbon is becoming something entirely new. Something of extraordinary beauty and extraordinary value that could not have existed without the exact conditions that looked, from a distance, like nothing but weight. You are not sitting in an empty field waiting for a bus that may never come. You are in the crucible. You are in the transformation. And what is being forged in you right now is not just a better version of yourself. It is the version of yourself that your divine counterpart is actually capable of meeting. What you just felt, that quiet ache mixed with recognition, is not sadness. It is your frequency remembering what it came here to receive. If this transmission stirred something you cannot name, the divine love frequency code was written for this exact moment in your journey. It contains 5 sacred Arcturian transmissions, designed to dissolve the wounds blocking your divine counterpart and activate the signal that draws them closer. The link is in the first pinned comment, but it will only remain there for a short time. Now let us go deeper. Because understanding that someone is coming is only the beginning. What matters is understanding what has been standing between you and the moment of meeting. Not circumstance, not bad luck, not some cosmic punishment handed down by a universe indifferent to your longing, but specific, identifiable, healable patterns that have been living in your energy field, shaping what you attract, quietly teaching you exactly what you needed to learn before this union could be sustained, before it could take root and grow, rather than arrive brilliantly and burn itself out on what was left unhealed in you both. The first thing you must understand is that your heart has been carrying a wound that was never yours to begin with. Most people on this path absorbed a belief early in life, not from something that was said out loud, but from what was modeled, from what was withheld, from what was lost before they were old enough to make sense of it. Perhaps it came from a parent who loved inconsistently, who was present one day and emotionally unavailable the next, so that love became associated in your nervous system with uncertainty, with walking on eggshells, with the constant low-level vigilance of not quite knowing if you were safe to be fully yourself. Perhaps it came from the first relationship that broke your heart before you had the resources to process it, that left you with the quiet, devastating conclusion that you were not enough. Not enough to make someone stay. Not enough to inspire the kind of love you offered to others. Perhaps it came from something subtler than that. From the ambient message of a culture that ranks and rates and grades people according to criteria that have nothing to do with the soul, and somewhere along the way you absorbed that ranking and placed yourself in a category that was less than what you actually are. The belief that love has conditions, that love must be earned, that you must be smaller, quieter, more convenient, less intense, less expansive, less fully yourself, in order to be loved without abandonment. And so without realizing it, you have been filtering out exactly the love you deserve, because some part of you has been convinced it cannot possibly be real. When someone offered love without conditions, you found it suspicious. When someone stayed without an agenda, you waited for the catch. When someone saw you clearly and chose you anyway, some quiet voice inside said this cannot last, and began to subtly, unconsciously, engineer the distance that eventually proved itself right, not because you are self-destructive, but because the nervous system always moves toward the familiar, even when the familiar is painful, even when you consciously want something entirely different. The first key to what you are moving toward is this. You must unlock the chamber of worthiness inside your own heart before the door to divine union can open from the outside. This is not about affirmations you say in the mirror while secretly not believing them. This is not about writing your desires on paper and placing them under a crystal and waiting for the universe to deliver. This is about a cellular, soul-level recognition that you were created for love the same way a river was created for water. Not as a destination the river must earn its way toward. Not as a reward granted to rivers that flow correctly. But as the fundamental nature of what a river is. It does not require permission to hold water. It was made for exactly this. And so were you. Love is not a reward for good behavior. It is your nature. It is the element you were designed to both hold and radiate. And the moment you begin to live from that truth, something in your energetic field fundamentally shifts. You stop searching for love as though it were scarce, and start emanating love as though it is infinite, which it is, and which you already are. You begin to notice that the quality of your presence changes, the way you move through a room, the way you speak about yourself in the quiet of your own mind, the way you respond to others who offer you less than your worth, not from arrogance, not from a performance of confidence, but from a deep, settled knowing that you are not auditioning for love. You are the stage upon which it has always intended to arrive. And when you begin to inhabit that truth, the filtering changes. What you permit to enter your life, and what you gently release, shifts, and the signal you broadcast into the vast field of possibility becomes so clear, so coherent, so unmistakably resonant with the love you were created for, that what has been circling at a distance begins to move closer. The second key is one that most spiritual teachings miss, and it is this: the person coming toward you is not a mirror of what you want. They are a mirror of what you have healed. This is a critical distinction, and it is worth sitting with for a moment because it changes the entire framework of how you understand what you have been through. You have perhaps heard that your partner will reflect you back to yourself, that relationships are mirrors, that what you see in another is a projection of what lives within you. And this is true, but not in the way most people interpret it. What many misunderstand is that they will not reflect your wounds back to you in order to wound you further. They will reflect your wholeness back to you because you finally became whole enough to attract it. The partner who arrives in divine union is not sent to complete you. They are sent to confirm you, to look at who you have become through all of this and say, "Yes, I see you. I see the full of you, and I am not afraid of any of it. I am not asking you to be less. I am not loving you in spite of your depth. I am loving you because of it. And I am here precisely because you stopped trying to make yourself small enough to fit into spaces that were never built for you. Every version of love you accepted that was less than you deserved was not a failure. It was a chapter. It was the universe showing you, with increasing clarity and increasing mercy, the precise shape of what was still unresolved within you. Each of those relationships was a teacher in disguise, not a cruel teacher, not a punishing one, but an honest one that showed you where your boundaries had not yet formed, where your self-worth had not yet solidified, where you were still leading with your wounds rather than your wholeness. And now those chapters are closing. Not because you suffered enough, not because some cosmic debt has been paid, but because you learned enough, because you grew enough, because you finally began to choose yourself with the same devotion you have always offered to others. Because the love you have spent your entire life so generously pouring outward has finally found its way back to its source, and you have begun to receive it. The third key is the one that requires the most courage, and that is the conscious dissolution of karmic contracts that were never meant to be permanent. You have been in relationships, perhaps many of them, that felt enormous in the moment. Connections that arrived with an electric, almost inexplicable intensity that carried the unmistakable weight of significance, that felt destined, even fated, that ultimately led to heartbreak or separation, or a slow, painful dimming of your light. And somewhere inside you, you have been carrying those endings as evidence of your unworthiness, as proof that something about you makes sustained love impossible, as confirmation of the oldest wound, that people always leave, that love always runs out, that the things you care about most always seem to find their way out of your hands. But here is what the soul knows that the human mind forgets. Some connections were never meant to last. They were meant to teach. They came into your life with a specific energetic purpose, to activate something dormant within you, to illuminate a pattern so clearly that you could no longer look away from it, to break open a part of you that needed breaking open so that something more true, more aligned, more authentically you could grow in its place. A seed does not mourn the shell it breaks through in order to become the plant it was always meant to be. The breaking is not the tragedy. The breaking is the birth. Think of the most significant relationship that ended and left you wondering why. Sit with the question not of why it failed, but of what it activated. What did it show you about yourself that you could not have seen any other way? What capacity did it grow in you through the specific texture of its difficulty? What did it finally teach you to require that you had never thought to ask for before? When you can move into relationship with those questions honestly, something begins to shift. You begin to see those connections not as wounds but as initiations, not as evidence against your worthiness, but as precisely calibrated experiences that were preparing your heart for a love that requires everything you now are, and nothing you had to sacrifice to become it. When you can look at those relationships with gratitude instead of grief, not because the pain wasn't real, but because the teaching was complete, you release an energetic hold that has been shaping your signal, and as that hold releases, your field becomes clean, clear, ready. The fourth key is the one that tests the patience of every soul on this path, and it is the art of trusting divine timing without collapsing into despair. There is a particular kind of exhaustion that comes not from overwork but from waiting, from holding hope for something you cannot see yet, from trying to stay open when every passing year feels like another piece of evidence for the case your fear has been building. This exhaustion is real. It deserves to be honored, not bypassed with a spiritual platitude about trust. So let this be said with the full weight of compassion it deserves. The waiting is hard, the uncertainty is real, the longing is not weakness. It is evidence of a heart that has not closed. And a heart that has not closed, despite every invitation to do so, is a heart of extraordinary strength. The universe is not withholding love from you. It is perfecting the conditions for a love that can actually sustain itself. And perfecting conditions takes time, not because the universe is slow, but because consciousness moves in cycles, and both you and your divine counterpart are moving through yours simultaneously, rarely at the exact same pace. Think of two rivers moving toward the same sea from different directions. Each has its own landscape to move through, its own obstacles to navigate, its own depth to discover. They cannot converge before each has completed what its own terrain requires. But the sea toward which they both move is the same. The destination is the same. And the convergence, when it happens, is not luck. It is inevitability. There is a moment, precise and inevitable, when both of your paths will intersect at exactly the right angle. Not too early, before either of you could hold what this connection requires. Not too late, because the universe does not delay what has been written, but in the exact moment when both of you are ready, when both of your hearts have been expanded enough by everything they have moved through to contain the magnitude of what this meeting actually is. And your work, right now, is not to force that moment into being. Your work is to use this time so completely, so fully, so honestly, that when the moment arrives, you are undeniably, fully, wholeheartedly there for it. Not distracted by wounds that should have been tended, not contracted by fears that should have been faced, but present, healed, whole, radiant, with everything this season of waiting has been building in you. The fifth key is perhaps the most misunderstood of all, and it is the one that, when truly grasped, shifts the entire experience of this season, from something to be endured into something to be inhabited. The frequency of divine love does not respond to longing. It responds to embodiment. There is a difference between calling for something from a place of lack and calling for it from a place of fullness. When you call from lack, from the sense that something outside of you is needed before you can be complete, you broadcast a frequency of incompleteness, and the universe, which is always responding to your actual signal rather than your stated desire, echoes that incompleteness back to you. But when you call from fullness, from the embodied knowledge that you are already whole, already worthy, already radiating the frequency of the love you wish to receive, something entirely different begins to happen. There is a version of you that already lives inside a love so complete, so nourishing, so deeply aligned with your soul's truth that it feels like home in a way no place or person ever quite has before. That version of you is not a fantasy. It is not a distant dream that may or may not materialize depending on conditions beyond your control. It is a future memory. It is already real in the dimension of possibility, and every choice you make from this moment forward is either moving you toward that version of yourself or holding you at a distance from it. Every time you choose joy over anxiety, you broadcast from the frequency of that future. Every time you choose self-care over self-neglect, you signal to the universe that you understand your own value. Every time you choose to speak your truth rather than shrink into silence, you are announcing to every soul that can hear the transmission, including the one that is moving toward you, that you know who you are, and you are not available to be anything less. You are not waiting for love. You are becoming it. And that shift from waiting to becoming is the shift that changes everything. The sixth key is the one that transforms the hardest season into the most sacred, and it speaks directly to those of you who have known the specific ache of recognizing a soul and then watching that soul move away. Whether a twin flame runner's cycle, an unexplained distance, a relationship that felt cosmically significant but ended before its time, do not interpret that separation as abandonment. Do not make it mean that you were not enough, that the recognition was wrong, that the soul knowing you felt was just another illusion your hope constructed. The recognition was real. The soul knowing was real. What was not yet ready was the capacity of both of you to sustain what that recognition was pointing toward. Interpret it as preparation. The space between two souls in divine union is not empty. It is the training ground for both. It is where individual healing happens that cannot happen inside the relationship itself. There are things that can only be discovered in solitude. Things that intimacy obscures, because the beautiful distraction of another person allows us to avoid the parts of ourselves that most need our attention. The separation was the universe insisting that each of you go back into yourselves and complete the work that the relationship itself could not do for you, where both parties learn to stand in their own light, not borrowing light from each other, not depending on the reflection of another's eyes for the confirmation that they exist and matter, but generating their own radiance from within, so that when they come together, they are not two half-lights trying to complete each other, desperately reaching across a mutual darkness toward the warmth they cannot find within themselves, but two full lights choosing to illuminate something greater together. A love that is chosen not from need but from desire, not from dependency but from devotion, not from the terror of being alone but from the profound, sovereign, freely given decision to share what you already fully are with someone who fully is themselves. Separation is not the end of the story. It is the universe expanding the capacity of both hearts to hold what is coming. And the seventh key, the final one, is also the simplest, and it is this. The door to your divine union opens from within, not from waiting, not from wanting, not from manifesting or visualizing or hoping hard enough or performing the right spiritual practices in the right sequence at the right time, from healing, from opening, from softening the last layer of protection that your beautiful, wounded, unbelievably strong heart has been holding around itself for longer than you perhaps realize. That final layer is subtle. It is the last wall, not the dramatic, obvious armor of someone who has openly closed their heart, but the thin, almost invisible membrane of someone who is almost open, who has done so much work, who is so close, but who has not yet fully let themselves believe that what they have been waiting for is actually real and actually coming. That final layer is there because it protected you when you needed protection. Honor it for that. Because there was a time when closing was the wisest thing you could do. There was a time when the wall kept you safe in ways that openness could not. And you built it with intelligence and with necessity, and it served you faithfully. Honor it for that service. And then gently, with great compassion for yourself, without judgment, without the added wound of criticizing yourself for having needed it, let it dissolve. Not all at once, not in a grand gesture of spiritual performance, but in small, daily, intentional acts of choosing openness over self-protection when the choice is presented, in allowing yourself to be seen when hiding would be easier, in staying soft when hardening would be more comfortable, in daring to want what you want without immediately building the case for why you should not expect to receive it. Because behind that final layer is a heart so radiant, so magnetic, so fully alive, so unmistakably itself in all of its beauty and depth and holy, singular particularity, that nothing and no one aligned with divine love will be able to pass by without being drawn in. Here is the ultimate truth that this entire transmission has been building toward, and it is the one your soul already knows, but has been waiting for your mind to accept. You are not unlovable. You have never been unlovable. Not when you were at your most broken. Not in the moments when you were least composed. Not in the seasons when your wounds were most visible. When your fears were loudest. When the gap between who you were and who you were becoming felt impossibly wide. Not in any of those moments was there a version of you that was not worthy of love. Because love is not something you earn by achieving a sufficient level of wholeness. Love is the truth beneath every level of wholeness and every level of brokenness equally. You were loved by the universe before you did a single thing to deserve it. And that love has been present in every difficult season, in every painful lesson, in every moment of feeling utterly alone, as the invisible force doing the work of preparing you for something your human mind could not yet conceive of, but your soul has always known was real. You have been in preparation. Every heartbreak cleared a room. Every ending made space. Every moment of loneliness was the universe asking you to go deeper into yourself, to find the parts of you that needed more tending, more truth, more compassion, so that when love arrived, you would be the kind of person who could not just receive it, but truly, fully inhabit it, not just tolerate its presence, but actually live inside it without flinching, without waiting for it to be taken away, without secretly believing it could not possibly be meant for you. You did not fail at love. You chose, at the level of your soul, to wait for a love worthy of your depth, and that choice, that sacred refusal to settle for less than what your soul came here to experience, has not been wasted time. That choice, repeated in 100 quiet moments, when you could have accepted less but didn't, when you could have closed and didn't, when you could have given up and didn't, has been quietly, invisibly, powerfully building the life, the frequency, the energetic signature that makes what is coming not just possible but inevitable. Tonight, before you sleep, place your hand on your heart, not as a ritual, as a recognition. Feel it beating. That beating is not just biology. It is signal. It is sacred. It is the evidence that you are here, that you survived everything that tried to convince you this was not worth it, that you are still open, still hoping, still willing, still moving toward what you know in your deepest self is real. That pulse is the most honest thing about you, and it has been broadcasting your frequency into the universe every single moment of every single day since the moment you arrived here, and your divine counterpart's soul can hear it. Even now, even across whatever distance still remains between you, even in this exact moment as you sit with your hand on your chest feeling the truth of what this transmission has awakened, they are, somewhere, also moving, also healing, also becoming the version of themselves that will one day stand before you and make every moment of the waiting make complete and perfect sense. And when you feel that pulse, say this from the center of your chest, not because you have to, not as a performance, not to convince yourself of something you are not yet sure is true, but because it is simply true, because it has always been true, because it will be true long after this moment has passed into memory. I am worthy of a love that chooses me completely. I am ready for a union that reflects the deepest truth of who I am. I trust the timing of my heart's journey, and I release every frequency that does not belong to where I am going. Before you scroll, take a moment to be part of what is forming here. Drop one intention in the comments, something real, something from your actual heart journey, not a performance but a truth, and then respond to someone else's with love or encouragement, because healing multiplies when it is witnessed, and you are surrounded right now by other souls in the exact same sacred season. This is not content. This is collective activation. If this message moved something in you, send it to someone who needs it. One share could be the transmission that shifts everything for someone who has been waiting for permission to believe they deserve the love they've always wanted. Subscribe if you feel called to stay in this frequency. There is more to receive, and you are only just beginning.